Mr. Vance, will you accept any deal that does not include a debt limit increase?
Look, I'll say one thing. The Democrats just voted to shut down the government, even though we had a clean CR, because they didn't want to give the president negotiating leverage during his first term, or during the first year of his new term. And number two, because they would rather shut down the government and fight for global censorship bullshit. They've asked for a shutdown, and I think that's exactly what they're going to get.
38 Republicans vote against it as well. What's the path forward, Mr. Vance?
Come on, guys.
What will be your policy in Syria?
Are you meeting with Speaker Johnson tonight to regroup?
Wait, so you're saying, hold on, just back up. So you're saying these four people, you're saying Jeffries, Johnson,
Schumer, McConnell, Johnson, and Jeffries, the firm.
Okay,
They did this.
Okay,
isn't Congress.
McConnell
This
and
is four
Schumer,
guys.
they cooked this up for the last 85 days in secret, dropped it on everybody Wednesday, and this is where we are.
Yes. And it has failed. It's failed miserably because the American people are awake. They have access to X. They have access to Waters World. They have access to information and to apps that will help them quickly digest this information. This does not work. It's an historic moment. It's fallen apart. And as a result, somebody's going to have to lose their job over this. I don't think the speaker is going to remain in power. That's my prediction. I'm not in the House. If I'm correct in that, and I think I am, we need bold new leadership, outside leadership, and I think it needs to be a Doge speaker. It needs to be either Vivek Ramaswamy or it needs to be Elon Musk. Look, I was over here a couple weeks ago, House and Senate Republicans for a Doge caucus meeting. I've never seen, we're like, herding cats, Republicans on Capitol Hill. Never seen so much attention, so much respect for two people in our entire caucus, in the Senate and in the House.
So you're officially nominating right here on Jesse Watters Primetime, either Vivek or Elon to be House Speaker. Doesn't have to be a politician, could be anyone, can be Speaker. Do they want that job?
I don't know. Look, I'm a little bit skeptical. Elon is kind of busy. He's got like 54 companies that he's running and trying to get to the moon. I suspect Vivek is a little bit more open to it than Elon. I'll take either one of them. Vivek, Elon, if you're watching, please sign up. America needs you.
All right.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So it seems as if we are headed towards a government shutdown, which is not as bad as it seems, right? The media is going to make it seem like it's the end of the world. Okay, if the government shuts down for a few days, if the politicians have to stay in D.C. and actually do their damn jobs, which is what they don't want to do. This is why we're in this situation, because the American people are fed up, right? They're fed up with the politicians trying to pass these very, very, very large spending bills that none of them read, right? None of them read these bills. And the game is up, right? Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and President Trump have said, you know what? We're going to do something a little bit different, right? Instead of these continuing resolutions in which you have all these pork barrel spending projects that the Democrats want attached to the bill that, again, nobody has read, okay? The people that are voting for this haven't read it and crammed it down people's throats, forcing them to vote for it before the Christmas holiday. No. Actually, we're going to have some transparency, right? We're going to try to do what we promised that we would do for the American people, which is to make the government more efficient and transparent. And that has resulted in a shorter bill that was backed by President Trump that now is only 116 pages, right? It's 116 pages, and it gets rid of a lot of the pork that was in the original bill. And Democrats lost their minds over the prospect of having to vote on a much shorter, slimmed down bill without all of the Democrat add-ons. Take a look.
The Musk-Johnson proposal is not serious. It's laughable. Extreme MAGA Republicans are driving us to a government shutdown.
Do you see a world in which you might regret not agreeing with the clean debt ceiling?
I don't know who's going to win this shutdown, but I know who loses, and that's the American people. And we know who caused it. We had a deal. We negotiated a deal. And then Musk decided to change the deal. Do I call him President Musk?
Read on a bill.
They signed it.
And you know what? They got scared because President Musk told them, President Musk said, don't do it. Don't do it. Shut the government down. Imagine. What does he know about what people go through is when the government shuts down? Are his employees furloughed? Hell no. Is he furloughed? No. And when you shut the government down, people don't get paid. And maybe if none of us got paid if the government shut down, some people on the other side of the aisle would feel differently about where we're going in this effort. We had an agreement. But you know, this is not different from what we've experienced over the last year and a half or so. Think about it. Biden, McCarthy, deal, come together. Next day, walk away. Johnson, Schumer, deal. Next day, walk away. And now this deal, walk away from it.
Voted for a CR, but I'm here today because I realize that the plan that's on the table currently to keep our government open, but also the promise from the only president in my lifetime who's ever followed through on all of his campaign promises to the American people. Excuse me, I'm not done talking. Give me the same respect we give you guys.
The House will come to order. My colleagues are reminded the gentlewoman has the floor. She has the right to be heard. The gentlewoman has the right to be heard, and the gentlewoman would be reminded to direct her comments to the chair. The gentlewoman from Florida is recognized.
From the only president in my lifetime who's fulfilled all of his campaign promises to the American people, has promised to cut hundreds of billions of dollars in reconciliation. You want to talk about shutting down the government. The deal that was negotiated was largely rejected by the American people, which, to Speaker Johnson's credit, pulled it from the floor, which is why we are here today. The deal on the table will keep the government open for the American people, and if you guys so choose to shut it down, it will be on you, but not the Republican Party. We will not be going back to the table. This deal stands as it is, so let you go back home on Christmas and explain to your people why you shut down the government, because we won't be doing it.
The House.
Furthermore, Mr. Speaker.
The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The gentlewoman is reminded to direct her comments to the chair. My colleagues are reminded to yield the floor to the gentlewoman from Florida.
Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, the former bill had items in it to include random pandemic policies, biocontaminant research that were not in the best interest of the American people. So the deal on the table is as is. You either vote for or you vote for the shutdown, but it will be not on the Republican Party, but on Democrats as it stands. Mr. Speaker, I yield my time.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, ultimately, what ended up happening with this new bill, this clean CR, right, or cleaner CR, so to speak, is that it failed, okay? And it failed because Democrats decided to vote against it, right? A vast majority of Democrats voted against it, but you also had some Republicans vote against it as well, too. Now, that presents an issue because the Republican majority is extremely slim right now. I think they're only up by one, so they can't afford to lose anybody in order to get things done. However, you do have, again, about 31 Republicans or so who are basically saying, you know what, we're not going to get on board with this CR either. Now, some of them are saying that, you know, they're not getting on board with it because it doesn't go far enough.
I was just texting with my son back home in Austin, who I haven't seen in quite a long time because I'm here trying to fight for him. When I got through cancer about 12 years ago, I made my promise to my kids that I would do everything I can to save this country. And what we're doing right now is to continue to double down on the things that are destroying the republic. We are going to increase the debt ceiling, not just $4 trillion, that's false. We have spent $4.7 trillion in additional debt in the last 19 months. We're going to increase the debt by $5 trillion. That's what's going to happen right here by Republicans, increasing the debt $5 trillion. And what are you doing in the same bill? $110 billion unpaid for, because you never have any ounce of self-respect to go out and campaign saying you're going to balance the budget And then you come in here and pass $110 billion unpaid for. On top of the $200 billion you did for WEP, you guys won't agree with that. But the fact of the matter is $330 billion. Congratulations, you've added to the debt since you were given the majority again on November 5th. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. Yes, I think this bill is better than it was yesterday on certain respects, but to take this bill yesterday and congratulate yourself because it's shorter in pages, but increases the debt by $5 trillion is asinine. And that's precisely what Republicans are doing. I'm absolutely sickened by a party that campaigns on fiscal responsibility and has the temerity to go forward to the American people and say, you think this is fiscally responsible. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. Now, meanwhile, you have the mainstream liberal media trying to play their part in this on behalf of the Democrat Party by parroting the Democrat talking points about how Elon Musk is the real president, right? So the play here from Democrats is to essentially try to drive a wedge between Elon Musk and Trump by saying that, well, Trump isn't really running things. It's Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the one that's calling the shots.
Which is even months ago, you know, when Nikki Haley was saying chaos follows Trump wherever he goes, she wasn't talking about Elon Musk and what we're seeing. I mean, this is an incredible situation that we're seeing. You can't get a photo of Trump without Musk being in it. And I'm not saying that to mock. I'm just saying it's an incredible turn of affairs.
Yeah, he's very influential. I actually talked to a member of Congress today about this whole situation, and he said that when Musk sent out his tweet, the first tweet about this whole deal,
like he's never seen so much pork in his life.
Instantly the phone started ringing in the congressional office, and people from the district started calling. And so that's
really?
That's real power. That, you know, the power to communicate and then have it instantly translate into, in that case, grassroots action. So you can see why members of Congress are, you know, running around freaking out a little bit about what's happening. I think likely what's going to happen tonight, hopefully, you get 38 Republican no votes here. You get Donald Trump on the phone. You try to begin to work inside the party to pull those people back. It's easier to win the debate over blame if your party is unified. The way to unify the party has always been to get Trump involved in it more.
Right. The Democrats only lost 2. I mean, 2 Democrats voted for it. The Republicans lost 38.
And I will just tell you this, my sense is what Republican voters want is for Republican elected officials to be unified and mostly unified around Trump. So my hope is that's what the leadership is going to do. Try to get him to engage with the 38 units.
Later, we can put that Truth Social post from Donald Trump up there if we can. I guess, what are your thoughts on all of this? I mean, what's the feeling among Democrats right now? Who's in charge? Is it Elon Musk? Is it Donald Trump? What's going on?
Well, for me personally, it appears that Elon Musk is trying to take the role as an unelected president. And in fact, that Donald Trump, it appears, is following his orders. And of course, the consequences are grave. When you look at what could take place, and I've been through government shutdowns before, we have services that will be halted. We have people who would be furloughed. This is the holiday season. We'll have TSA agents who won't be paid. We'll have total chaos again. The economic impacts of a shutdown are devastating, and it hurts people, everyday people. And so to be able to blow up a bipartisan deal that would keep the government open, that would allow the negotiations to move toward another deadline in March, to me is just irresponsible. But it says a lot about Donald Trump, and it says a lot about allowing a non-elected billionaire to run our government.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Okay, once again, we have the media parroting the talking points from the Democrat Party about how Elon Musk is actually president, right? Because again, the whole purpose here is to try to drive a wedge between Elon Musk and President Trump. Now, what the media doesn't understand, and what the Democrats don't understand, and what some Republicans don't understand, is that Elon Musk is simply representing the voice of the people, okay? Elon Musk and his platform X have become a voice for the people, and the people have spoken. The people said that they want change in Washington, D.C., especially when it comes to transparency around these spending bills. And Democrats are upset that the jig is up, right? That they got exposed for all of the pork that they wanted to add in the original continuing resolution. Now, the new continuing resolution, the slim down one, the 116-page one, backed by Trump, that one, although it failed, okay, there is hope that eventually all Trump has to do is to get the rest of the Republicans on board with whatever the new continuing resolution will be and go from there, okay? Because the problem here is not just the spending, but it's the lack of transparency, okay? Some of these budget items in this bill should be voted on individually, right? All of the pork that the Democrats want to add to the bill that they're mad about, they're pissed off about, should be voted on individually, okay? There should be a clean resolution with no add-ons, a yes or no vote on it, right? And then when it comes to disaster relief, a yes or no vote. When it comes to the debt limit and increasing the debt limit, a yes or no vote, which, by the way, some people may be confused about Trump coming out and basically saying that he wants to suspend the debt limit. He basically wants to get rid of it because it doesn't stop the politicians from spending more money anyways, so you might as well get rid of it. And honestly, I think that President Trump has a point. Why do I say that? It's because the debt limit is essentially just a political football, right? Every single year, both parties use the debt limit as leverage against each other in order to add a bunch of pork to these continuing resolutions. This is why they've gotten so big, right? Because they're full of pork, okay? The pork is added as a result of having a debt limit there and essentially bribing the politicians by saying that, well, if you want me to vote for this, if you want to vote to keep the government open, or if you want to vote to be able to keep spending money, right, to not avoid the country going bankrupt, then, hey, you got to agree to add my pork in there, right? You got to agree to this little project that I want. That's exactly what they do. And it happens every single year. So what happens is that it just results in more spending, right? It results in more spending. And there's really no point in even having it, to be honest with you. And Trump is essentially saying, listen, in my first 2 years, I don't want to go through that, right? I don't want to play the political football game with the debt limit when you're going to end up increasing it anyways, right? And on top of that, it just results in more spending, right? It actually probably promotes more spending than anything else, okay, to be honest with you. So that's what's happening here, okay? President Trump doesn't want to deal with the debt limit, okay? He doesn't want to deal with the Democrats trying to hold him hostage, right? And he also wants more transparency, right? He doesn't want all of the pork barrel spending that the Democrats want in these continuing resolutions. And also on top of that, a lot of these budget items should be voted on individually. Now, from a political strategy perspective, Republicans, yeah, they can put this on the Democrats because a majority of the Democrats, if not all the Democrats, basically voted against it. And the main reason they voted against it is because it doesn't have their pork projects, right? Not because it spends too much money or because they want any type of fiscal responsibility, which, by the way, it's funny because Democrats claim that Republicans don't know how to govern, as if governing means just spending more money, right? How can a party that spent $40+ billion on internet for rural America and didn't get anybody connected to the government internet, how can they lecture anybody about how to govern? How can a party that has ruined almost every liberal city, every great city in this country, that has ruined these cities, how can they lecture anybody about how to govern? Democrats think governing is just spending more money. Just toss money, throw money at a bunch of stuff. Doesn't matter if you actually get a positive return on investment. Doesn't matter if it results in real productivity or anything like that. They think governing is literally just spending more money, right? So if the PR battle is between the Democrats who are against it because they can't get their pork projects, and then you have a very small amount of Republicans that are against it because they don't think it goes far enough in regards to cutting spending, I think that from a PR perspective, Republicans are going to win that battle, right? Because if Democrats want their pork, then they should vote on it individually, right? They should let the American people know, hey, this is what we want to spend money on, okay? And it should be done in an extremely transparent way. But the current process has to change, right? And if the politicians got to stay over Christmas and not spend time with their families in order to get it right, to get a process that is transparent, then hey, that's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, all of these things should be voted on individually. Should be voted on individually. So we will see what happens, but it looks like we're headed towards a shutdown. Who knows? Maybe the politicians will work out something at the last minute. That's typically what they always do, but you know, sometimes they don't meet the deadline and the government actually does shut down. It won't be as bad as the mainstream liberal media is claiming. And I don't want to hear anything from Democrats about Republicans not knowing how to govern, because again, the last 4 years under Joe Biden, I wouldn't define those 4 years as good governance, right? Good governance is not continuing to spend money, kicking the can down the road, right? Running this country off a fiscal cliff. That's not good governance. Good governance is making tough decisions to benefit the American people in the long run, and that's what's happening here. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.